And welcome to the Marcus and Mike Show. I am Mike. The man over here to my left is Marcus. Marcus, how you doing today, bud?
Doing really good. What's going on? A big night tonight in the NBA.
It is a really big night in the NBA, and quite frankly, we couldn't be much more excited. But before we get to that point there, if you guys are new to the channel, new to us on YouTube, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you would, please. That would be very helpful for us, help us grow a little bit here. If you are listening to us on podcast form, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, etc., consider subscribing to that as well, or following, and leave us as a ranking. That would be living the dream for us over here, guys. So Marcus, there was a really big feat last night in Major League Baseball, as us know. But for those people that are not up with the baseball world, Mike Fiers threw his second career no-hitter. That means there were 0 hits in the whole game. It's not a perfect game, because a perfect game is no errors, nobody on base, etc. But this just happened just the 300th time ever in Major League Baseball history. That includes regular season and postseason. So before we get too carried away, Marcus, I want to ask you: what do you think is the bigger feat? Do you think getting a no hitter is bigger? Hitting a hole in one, rushing for 2,000 yards. What do you think the hardest thing to do in sports is? Getting a no hitter the hardest thing to do?
I'm not a golf expert, but you're talking about golf, getting a hole in one. I mean,
Right,
that's right. If you're from distance, that's pretty incredible. I mean, there's got to be a lot of skill involved in that, and a little bit of luck.
100%.
Yeah, I mean that's just amazing. The hole in one is amazing. The no hitter is amazing as well. I mean, 300 times people have done it. I know, and there's some experts out there and talk show hosts and all that kind of downgrade the no hitter because there's 300 of them, right? Like if they were so big, why would there? But if you think about how many times people have went to the mound, that's a very small percentage in the history of Major League Baseball to get a no hitter and be the 300th person to do that. That is still an incredible feat. And just like you mentioned, the perfect game, there's only been 23 of those. That is actually might be one of the most remarkable things ever. Rushing for 2,000 yards, man, everything has to come together for you. Offensive line, I mean, the opponents you play, just the people taking wrong angles, wrong angles in the gaps and everything. I mean, that is really hard to do as well. You got to get enough attempts. I mean, everything's got to go perfect for you that season. Ezekiel Elliott has led the NFL in rushing the last 3 years, and he hasn't even approached near 2,000. I mean, I think his best was 1,674, I think.
Right.
I mean, to get 2,000 is incredible. I think Emmitt Smith's best was 1,773. Tony Dorsett was 1,626 or something like that. I mean, Eric Dickerson. Eric Dickerson was amazing. He did 2,105. OJ did it. And then Eric Dickerson had a 1 year, I think it was 8. He had 1,808. I mean, I'm not sure what would be the biggest accomplishment or what's the hardest to do. That is incredible. What was there? Was there other something on your list? I got carried away with the 2,000 yards. It was the hole in one.
Yeah, So I was kind of poking fun at LA here since their recent downfalls. I think the biggest feat would be a complete hitter / no game, a no hitter / complete game. But I also had 2,000 yard rusher on there, hitting a hole in one or winning a NBA title in LA was the one I kind of was poking fun at a little bit.
Hey, they're not anywhere close to a title in LA unless they, if they bring the same team back with LeBron James and those cast of characters, they won't be any closer to winning the title than my San Antonio Spurs, who got bounced in the first round. So, not winning a title in LA might trump them all, but unless they get like Anthony Davis or something. But even then, it's going to be difficult to do. So, winning a title in LA that might even beat the no hitter.
Just to kind of add to everything that you are saying there. I definitely think a 2,000-yard rusher is more of a team collective
Yeah,
stat because you have to have a great line to block. Like you have to have a quarterback that can pass the ball to keep people out of the box, like etc. Hitting a hole in one, I feel there's a lot of luck involved that. But
yeah,
just pitching a no hitter, uh, mean like yeah, you have to have some defense behind you. But when a pitcher's on, and like he can single-handedly win a game night in and night out by keeping people off the base pass, not allowing them to hit the ball and just pitch really, really well. So I definitely think this is the by far one of the hardest feats in the major league sports that we have. So
yeah,
I mean, just let's go on and move forward like a little bit here. I mean, of course, we had some NBA games last night. Let's start with the complete blowout. I guess let me rephrase that. The bigger of the two blowouts. The Raptors defeated the 76ers last night, 125-89. Raptors were just on point from the tip to the final
yeah.
buzzer, and them playing the way they're playing right now, like at least in this Game 5 win, I don't see anybody beating them. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, I mean, and I don't know what's going on with Philly. I mean, have they checked out mentally like Boston Celtics have? We'll find out Game 6 what they have. Embiid's been a disappointment. Ben Simmons is basically just running up and down the court like he's playing street ball,
Yeah,
and he's not contributing the way a super talent like that is. And Tobias Harris is I mean, these guys. What's amazing about Philly's little downfall here, they're playing against a team that doesn't have as big as names as they do. I mean, Tobias Harris, if he were playing for Toronto, he'd be the second biggest name. He's an Olympian. He's trying out for the Olympic team. Okay, Tobias Harris would be the second biggest name on Toronto. I know you have Marc Gasol there, but
yeah,
you know what I mean. Like, in other words, they didn't ask Marc Gasol to try out for the Olympic team. They asked Tobias Harris. So, and they're not playing, and these guys are all in contract years. Well, Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler are. They should be playing their ass off. Tobias Harris should be playing like a madman. Jimmy Butler should be playing like a madman, taking it upon themselves to stop Kawhi Leonard, showing the Olympic Committee, hey, you can put me on the best player internationally, and I'll stop him. Showing Coach Brown, showing all the coaches in the world that I'm worth $120 million contract, $140 million contract in the offseason. Jimmy Butler has had a game here or there where he goes, oh, okay, that's the Jimmy Butler from Chicago. But other than that, Tobias Harris and Jimmy Butler have not lit the house on fire and done well in their contract years, which is amazing to me. I mean, even the lazy players, Michael, will go, okay, it's my contract year. Even if we're in the playoffs, I got to show out because I have to do well, not just, not for Philadelphia, but I got to show other people. I got to put myself on tape that I'm a badass,
right.
and that I can do this. And they're letting Kawhi Leonard and Siakam and Ibaka and a bunch of really good players. I think Toronto is the best cohesive team in the playoffs besides the Nuggets, like everybody knowing their roles and stuff. And they're letting Kawhi Leonard just get to wherever spot and pick his spots, and Kawhi Leonard's just destroying Toronto. Marc Gasol's helping out, hitting threes. I mean, Kyle Lowry wasn't bad yesterday. I mean, Kyle Lowry was stealing the ball, racing the other end of the court,
Yeah,
and making a lay-in. And then they showed Brett Brown kind of just lean back in his seat like, oh, God. And Kyle Lowry just stole the ball from, it was like Ben Simmons and Butler or something, or Redick or one of those guys. And that's another one. Redick's in the contract here. What are you doing, JJ?
yeah. I was actually getting ready to bring him up. Look at that.
Yeah.
Stealing my thunder.
So Kyle Lowry lays the ball in, and Brett Brown's just beside himself. Kyle Lowry raced every one of those great athletes to the basket and laid the ball in at 5'11" or 6 feet, however tall Kyle Lowry is, which is, he's shorter than Tony Parker. I mean, he's a Kimball Walker size. So it's just amazing. It's almost like Philly just checked out, and they're not in as bad a position as the Celtics are, because the Celtics are down 3-1, but Philly can rise up and get Game 6. And Jimmy Butler said, you never know what's going to happen in a Game 7, but I just don't see it. I think Kawhi Leonard is that good. I think he's that special of a talent, and I think Toronto will win this series. But it's amazing how Philly has these top players, this starting five that's really good, and they've pretty much they checked out last night, and that's a hell of a starting five. I mean, when you got Ben Simmons and J.J. Redick and Tobias Harris, Jimmy Butler, and Joel Embiid, that is a great starting five. And for them to check out in games is amazing to me.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, and just to add to your point here, just by how much they were checked out, I was looking at the box score right before our show, and usually I'm not too big on the plus and minus, but if you look at the box score, every one of the players from Philadelphia had a minus score, meaning that the Raptors scored that many points on them when this player was in. Harris minus 34, Embiid minus 15, Simmons minus 8, Butler minus 17, JJ Redick minus 21. I mean, that is just unheard of, and it just keeps going down into the bench. And then you scroll down and you look at the Raptors. Every one of them was plus, except for Mike Miller had minus 4, which he played 2 minutes in the game. So this just tells you how bad Philly was last night. And just before you brought up JJ, I was going to bring him up to you, like putting out some like APBs. JJ Redick, you had 3 points last night in 32 minutes of play. What is going on with you, man? Like, you are supposed to be the big shot player on this team, and you hit one shot all night, 1 3-pointer. That's all you got. You couldn't get to the foul line. I mean, what is going on with you, bud? Like, it is time for Philadelphia to either show up or just check out in Game 6. I don't think they even deserve to play a Game 7 after this past night.
Yeah, it is pretty amazing. And what's amazing is J.J. Redick's in a contract year 2. Who's going to sign him? It's going to be a big offseason for Philadelphia, the 76ers. Jimmy Butler contract year, Tobias Harris contract year. I just mentioned J.J. Redick contract year. I mean, they're all free agents. And so we'll see how – I mean, you got to keep Embiid. I mean, but you got to tell him to get in shape. And Ben Simmons has to work on a jumper. I'll tell you right now, if Ben Simmons showed up in about 6 months from now in training camp or whatever, if he doesn't develop a jumper, I'd be so upset if I was a Philadelphia 76er fan. I mean, this guy, I mean, they've got to get better, and let's see who they sign. Let's see who they make a priority, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris, or J.J. Redick. Right. I think they can try to keep maybe 1 out of the 3 or maybe 2 out of 3. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, and just to add to your point, if you remember, was it last year, we were talking about Simmons as being the rookie of the year talk. Where did that go until this year? It is utterly ridiculous. How, I mean, I don't want to say bad, but how fundamentally flawed his game is. It's just weird to me.
Yeah, I mean, he just doesn't have a jumper. In the playoffs, they expose you for what your 100%. Deficiencies are. And also, Coach Brown has taken the ball a little bit out of his hands and put it more in Jimmy Butler's hands. But, yeah, I mean, it's exposing him for not being a shooter. He's basically just a fast break player right now, running up and down the court. But that being said, he should even be better than that. If they're going to take the ball out of Simmons' hands, he's got to play better defense. He's got to get running, get layups. He's got to guard Kawhi better, guard Siakam better, grab rebounds. I mean, then he's got to really play like reckless abandon. Yeah. And he's not doing that either.
Yeah. Well, speaking of playing with reckless abandonment, last night the Denver Nuggets showed up and absolutely destroyed Portland Trailblazers, 124-98. It was just another game. It was over once the ball was tipped. It was crazy to watch this game. I was mentally checked out about second quarter. So what are your thoughts on this one?
Well, look, the altitude will get you. I mean, I don't want to make excuses for Portland. I think Denver is the better team. And man, people see now what San Antonio Spurs had to deal with. I
Right.
mean, yeah, everybody was crapping on DeMar DeRozan, and now look at Lillard. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, in other words, what great postseason is he having? I mean,
Right.
what great series is he having? He had a great first series, but yeah, that altitude will get you, man. And Denver, listen, the best player on the floor is Nikola Jokic. Denver's playing complete team ball. Jamal Murray is just fabulous. Gary Harris chimes in. I wish Gary Harris would do more, and I think he will do more moving ahead in his career. CJ McCollum, I didn't even know if he played last night. He played. I mean, it was crazy. I mean, it's almost like he sat on the bench the whole. Like I didn't even see him from the third quarter. I mean, it was crazy. I mean,
Yeah.
they basically
He
just
only played
mailed this.
29 minutes in the game.
You did he? Okay.
Yeah.
They basically just mailed this thing in. It was incredible to watch. We'll see. I think Portland will show up in Game 6 and maybe even get that game. But I see Denver winning this series. The best player on the court is Jokic. Lillard looks frustrated. McCollum, he has his moments. He did really well in that double overtime. Now you look back, man, if Denver had just won that double overtime, this series would be over.
Yeah.
But they're going to need their backcourt's so small. I mean, and I've always had a problem with Portland's backcourt. I mean, Lillard and McCollum, 6'2" apiece, it looks like. The only small backcourt I've ever seen win a title like that when you have two small guards was Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars. But Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars had John Sally and Dennis Rodman and James Edwards and Bill
Right.
Laimbeer, Hall of Famer, in there. So they were able to get away with it. Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas were fabulous. And maybe one of the best backcourts in we've ever seen. But McCollum and Lillard, eventually they're going to flame out. And this looks like the series they're going to flame out in.
Yeah.
Denver's just a better, more complete team. And I was singing Portland's praises last series. They're a real complete team. Everybody knows their roles, but when you come up against a better, more complete team than you, this is what happens. And I actually expect Portland to win Game 6. We'll talk about that tomorrow. But I think Denver's just a better team. It wouldn't surprise me at all if Denver went ahead and got this series over in 6.
Yeah, and I'm going to say the same thing as I did the last segment here. Got to look at the plus minus in this game. It wasn't as bad as the previous game, but just like the previous game that we just talked about, everybody is in the minus for the Portland Trail Blazers. All the starters are above 20 on the minus scale there. And then all of the Denver Nuggets starters, they average over 20, but like most of them are 28, 25, and 31 points plus wise there. So that is just the story of the game right there, is when your whole team is in the plus and the other team is in the minus, it is a simple blowout.
Yeah.
And you keep referring that Portland was a complete team. We also have to understand that their star player or their center, like their big man, is like he is hurt.
Right.
Like he is out of the series. So I don't know if he would make that big a difference in this series or not, just because of the way Denver is physically manhandling them these last two games. I don't think it's going to go Game 7. I think Portland is checked out, and Denver wins the series in 6. Just like you said,
Right.
Jokic, it's like he's playing out of his mind right now. Jamal Murray is playing great. He had another 18 points this past night. It is just crazy to see this Denver Nugget team grow night in and night out. And I'm quickly becoming a fan of this team. They'll definitely be in my favorites to watch for this upcoming season, the 2020 season.
No doubt
to watch them play.
No doubt. And yes, and to answer your point, if Nurkic was playing for Portland, he would make life a little bit more difficult for Jokic. But let's make no mistake here. Jokic is better than Nurkic.
Yeah.
And I think Jokic would still be the best player on the court. Nurkic would make a difference, but man, it might even put him over the top. But I still would see, even if Nurkic was playing, I still would see this series going 7, because this is two really, really, really good up-and-coming teams. And yeah, Portland needs to get Nurkic healthy.
Yeah, so let's go on and move on to tonight's game here. One of the most intriguing matchups all of a sudden now is Houston Rockets versus Golden State. That series is tied 2-2, going back to Golden State tonight. What do you look forward to in this game? And does Houston have a chance of winning this series still, or were those last two games just hiccups?
That's a great question. I think Houston has a chance. They have a puncher's chance, obviously. But I really think Golden State's just the superior team here. I think Golden State wins this game by 10, 15, 20 points tonight. And I think they'll close out the series. And let me tell you something, Michael. I hope I am dead wrong. This is a big night for the NBA, in my opinion. When is this Warriors thing going to end?
Right.
Is it going to end when they dismantle and then everybody else has a shot? Or will the Houston Rockets end it? The Spurs had a chance to end it a couple of years ago when Kawhi Leonard got hurt in Game 1, and Kawhi Leonard was up 25 points in Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals with the Spurs. I still think Golden State would have came back. It would have been a great series, but for Kawhi to go out up 25 points, which was pretty amazing to have Durant and Klay Thompson and Stephen Curry and Draymond Green down 25 points in the middle of the third quarter. So we don't know what would have happened there. I would have liked to have thought my Spurs were the better team. I think they were the more complete team.
Yeah.
But that didn't happen. Kawhi got hurt. The rest, as they say, is history. Now Golden State has almost made the NBA almost unwatchable in terms of when it comes to the finals because they're just so superior than everybody. But so tonight is a big night. Why am I going through that history, Michael? Because tonight is a big night. If Houston were to somehow, Golden State were to be cold and somehow make, 25 of 45 threes, something ridiculous tonight and beat Golden State, this would be a big deal for the NBA. Then they'd have one more night they'd have to do that. And to knock out Golden State in the second round would be a monumental deal for the NBA. I don't even know how to describe it because, like I said, Golden State's almost made the finals unwatchable, and this, although if the Golden State gets by the Rockets, this finals won't be unwatchable, but the last couple have been. And so, when is Golden State going to dismantle? Or when is their run going to end? Is it going to be this series, the Western Conference Finals, or the NBA Finals, or are they just going to win the whole thing and then it'll dismantle on their own?
Right.
They'll just be they'll just three-peat and they'll just go ahead and go their separate ways, a couple of them. So tonight's a big night in seeing how that's going to happen, if that's going to be true or not. Houston has a puncher's chance because they shoot the ball really well. They're kind of a little boring to watch because Houston, what they do on offense, they put, Harden and ISO and everybody just stands around. It's kind of not fun to watch, but
it's horrible to watch.
Yeah, I really don't want that. I really don't want the Rockets winning the championship with that kind of basketball, but I want them beating the Warriors. But because I hate the Warriors so much, but we'll see what happens. Listen, Curry is underachieved in the playoffs, and he always does. He's never the same regular season Curry.
Right.
He's never as he is in the. He never makes his game go to another level in the playoffs. It's really weird. I don't know what that reason is. I think the refs call it a little different, and so he gets hand checked more. He gets a little more defense thrown on him. But I just see the Warriors rising up tonight and beating the Rockets. And I hope I'm wrong. I want to come here tomorrow and say Rockets won. But I just see the Warriors winning this game tonight and winning the series.
Yeah. I hope you're right, but at the same time, I hope you're wrong as well. Because I feel like if Golden State were to lose this series, that means we would have to watch Golden State for another year or two with this same team. If they were to win the championship this season, I think that team is done. Like, I don't think they are going to want to stay around anymore.
No, I think they're so fed up with each other. This run is done. In terms of, I just don't. Steve Kerr and Draymond don't get along. People say that's overblown. Trust me. Kerr goes home to his wife and complains about Draymond. No, right. I'm not joking. Like, there's rift there. Draymond called KD Kevin Durant a punk.
Yeah,
think about that for a second. These guys have such big egos. Kevin Durant's getting along with Draymond right now, but he doesn't want to play with Draymond the rest of his career. And Kevin Durant knows deep down that it was kind of a punk move, or was a punk move, moving to the Warriors, the team that you couldn't beat and you had beaten with Oklahoma City, that you had them beat, you had them down 3-1.
Right.
And then like joining, you're a loser, and then joining the winner. And then Kevin Durant's taken all kind of crap for it for the past few years. And then he had fake burner accounts, and he always answers to everybody. So he knows deep down it's a punk move. So I think he wants to get his title and then get out of there. So I understand what you're saying about if they win the title, then he's gone. But I don't think if they were to lose to the Rockets, there's no way that KD, him and Draymond hate each other. They're just coexisting right now for the town, for the team, for everything. They're ready to move on. And so Draymond could, if KD decides to stay, Draymond could move on.
Right.
Klay Thompson is complained he's not getting enough shots. He's not getting the same looks that he used to get before KD arrived.
Right.
So Klay Thompson could get the max thrown at him for the Clippers, Lakers, and he could be gone. So this thing is not going to – these dynasties don't last like this with all these great players like that. There's no way. They'll coexist for a few years, and then once they've done everything they can do with that coexistence, if you will, once they've done everything they can do, they will then dismantle. So I think if the Rockets were to get them and bite them in this series, which I don't think is going to happen, I think that they'll more likely lose in the NBA Finals. But if the Rockets go ahead and get them right here, I think that they will. I think that they'll dismantle anyway. I don't think that. I think they're so fed up with each other.
Yeah, I mean, like I definitely hear what you're saying, but maybe that was just the sports mentality in myself. Like I want to come back and win the next year after being beat. But like I definitely hear what you're saying. Right. Hopefully you are right 100%, and like I'm wrong, because just like you, I'm tired of this whole what's it called, the Hampton 5 or Hampton 4
stupid.
Or whatever they're called. Like I mean, KD just go to New York or wherever you're going to go. Klay go to LA. Draymond and Curry can stay there. I mean, like, it's perfectly fine.
I think that if KD leaves, I think Klay Thompson stays, and so they'll have their team that they had in 2015.
Yeah,
which
they were still good. I mean,
they'll be a regular great team instead of this unfair team that they throw out on the court. It's kind of ridiculous.
But we also have to applaud what the Golden State Warriors did in the like how they made their team. You know, they got Steph Curry and Klay Thompson in the draft. I mean, it is not like they made some big off-season moves to get all these great players.
I agree 100%. Now, I'm not mad at the Warriors for not going after KD. I'm mad at KD for choosing a team that just beat you.
Yeah.
You almost beat them, and then you just jump ship and go across town to make it easier on yourself. Yeah. I think that's a punk move. It's just. I'm not mad at the Warriors for building their team and signing KD. They did their due diligence, you know?
Yeah.
If KD, let me tell you something. If Kevin Durant would have signed with the San Antonio Spurs instead of the Warriors, I would be enthralled. I'd be happy. But I still would say, damn, that's a little bit of a punk move.
Right.
Just to leave OKC when you have the best team in basketball. You have the Warriors down 3-1, and you're right there at the cusp of beating them. And you come back and you won a title there. You cried when you got your MVP, saying how great Russell Westbrook was, and you were crying about him. You actually tweeted that you don't want to make any super teams, that you want to stay with your current team, and you want to go at those super teams. And then you went to a super team. Dude, you just completely contradicted your whole mindset.
That was probably a burner account.
That's why he's upset about it. That's why deep down he's upset about it, and he wants out of Golden State. He proved that, whatever, that he can get a ring, that's fine, or a couple of rings, and now he wants out of there. He probably wants his own team now, his own legacy now, in terms of he'll go to the Knicks or wherever he's going to go to make his own legacy. And then people will start liking him again, to be honest, if he did that.
I doubt it. I mean, like I feel like he has definitely, like, his bridge is definitely burned. Like, he would have to do something pretty monumental to gain the trust back.
Michael, just leaving the Golden State Warriors, people will start liking him again. If he went to the Knicks, think about that brand. Everybody, he would be the talk. Kevin Durant would be the talk of the NBA if he signed with the New York Knicks. Yeah. You talk about all the Fortune 500 companies that he would be able to work with, and it would just be remarkable. He would lead off ESPN every night. Kevin Durant signs with the Knicks. And everybody would jump on board and be like, man, that's a great move. Just leaving the Warriors was fabulous. Now you can go prove how great you are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, like either way, me personally, I definitely think that bridge is burned, and I'm definitely done with him, 100%. But it is what it is. So let's move on to the second game happening, or it's actually the first game, but the second game we're going to talk about. Bucks versus Celtics game 5. Bucks do win or lead the series 3-1. Like we talked about yesterday here, Celtics are pretty much checked out at this point. I think, do the Celtics show up in Milwaukee, make it somewhat of a game and force game 6 at least, or is tonight it?
Great question. The $1 million question. Look, I think the Celtics have checked out mentally. I mean, you don't go down 3-1. They had a good game 1, and then they've just gotten throttled. And Kyrie's made 19 shots in 3 games. But here's the funny thing about it. I mean, I think you mentioned this a couple of days ago. Kyrie's the one guy. The Celtics are the one team that maybe they have enough talent. We're going to find out a lot about the Boston Celtics tonight, about their organization and how they are and how they want to move forward. We are going to find out a lot.
Yep.
If you look in the middle of third quarter and you see players on the court that you haven't seen play before, that means Brad Stevens is basically threw the white flag up and Bucks are killing them, and they really did check out.
Yeah.
And then they're just going to figure out who they're going to sign for next year, who they're going to keep, what trades they make. The Celtics have 3 first-round draft picks next year. Them and Philadelphia and the Warriors. This is going to be – let me tell you something about the NBA offseason. This is going to be must-see TV. The NBA is going to be like the NFL, where they keep you engaged all year round.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this is going to be amazing to watch. Who leaves off of Philadelphia? Who leaves off the Warriors? Who leaves off the Celtics? And we're going to find out a lot tonight about what Celtics are hungry and who wants to stay and who wants to perform. And I have this funny feeling I'm going to ride with them one more time. I think the Bucks are going to win this series, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I think that Kyrie and Tatum and Jaylen Brown and these guys and Marcus Smart, they're going to show up and they're going to take the Bucks to the wire. This game's going to be close. I think the Celtics win tonight. But that being said, that's big. They're not going to win the series. I'm just saying that because I think they're going to show some heart and try to get it done. But it wouldn't shock me at all if they've already they check out of this game and they just go ahead and lose this series 4-1. That wouldn't shock me either. Also, so we'll see what happens tonight. But it's a big night in the NBA for the Warriors. Let's see if their dynasty gets a real dent thrown in it. I don't think so. And then we'll see if the Celtics, who never had a dynasty with this group. They thought they did.
They should.
They thought they were going to have one, but let's see if they dismantle and they run and quit tonight as well.
Right, and I kind of have to concur of what you're saying there. I think the Celtics are either going to win by 2 or 3 points, or it's going to be a complete blowout. It's going to be a 20 to 30 point loss. They are not going to lose close. They will win close or lose big. Because, like I said, they are mentally checked out at this point, and traveling to Minnesota or wherever they're from, it's not the most beautiful place in the world. I'm sure that flight sucks. So they definitely don't want to go back there for a game 7 by like.
You mean Milwaukee? Yeah.
Yeah. So that flight to there definitely sucks. Then you have to take a bus through town. It's just it's horrible. They don't want to be there in a game 7, so they're definitely done. I'm picking the Bucks to win tonight by 25 to 30 points. It is going to get ugly quick.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think the Celtics have enough in them, enough heart, but to rise up and win the game. But man, no, I'm not going to be shocked at all if Milwaukee just destroys them and they just check out mentally like they have for the past couple of games. No, that wouldn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, you guys know where I stand at this point. So let's go ahead and move on. Just a little fun topic here. We've been talking basketball a lot lately, the last week or two. NFL draft was what, two weeks ago?
Yeah, April 25th. Yeah.
Well, we have 16 weeks till NFL season starts.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
And I'm already getting emails to set up my fantasy drafts and pools and stuff like that. So, who would your first round draft pick be?
Oh my God, that's the one out of left field. I know you sent it to me. Oh my, I forgot about. That's a good one. Look, I'm a Texans fan. See, I'm no good at fantasy draft. I mean, I'm good. I know who's good. I know who's. I keep a track of all the stats, but I'm one of those homer guys that I probably would draft Deshaun Watson number one. You know what I mean? I think he's going to throw. I think he's going to have with a better offensive line. This guy and he runs in touchdowns. I think this guy and Will Fuller is healthy. He's like second to Tyreek Hill and taking the top off the defense. I think Deshaun Watson is going to throw for 40 touchdowns and run for another 5 or 6. So, I mean, man, Jared Goff has a lot of weapons. Tom Brady. I mean, Tom Brady usually goes. I mean, Tom Brady. You can't go wrong with Tom Brady. Patrick Mahomes is.
There you go.
I mean, come on. I mean, Tyreek Hill or no Tyreek Hill, you think they're not going to put people in there that he's going to find to throw the football to? Not. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is going to throw for 40 plus touchdowns. So, man, I'm not 100% sure on this. I know Ezekiel Elliott runs for a lot of yards. Ezekiel struggled a little bit in rushing touchdowns last year. He only had 6. I think he had a bunch. I think he had a few pass receiving time. So he had double-digit touchdowns, but only 6 rushing touchdowns, which is not good. You know what I mean in terms of fantasy. Ezekiel could get back on track though and give you 16 touchdowns like he did his rookie year.
Right.
So that's a great question. I'm not sure. I might even go Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, but that's just me being a homer. And with my Deshaun Watson first round pick, but I do think Deshaun Watson is going to get you 40 touchdowns this year, and that's pretty good for fantasy. That's like 2.5 touchdowns a game, 40 touchdowns.
I mean that's 14 points right off the top there. Plus you got your passing yards, so like he'll probably average 18, 19, 20 points, just depending on your league. Like obviously, I like your Patrick pick there. I mean that's kind of a given. But usually I never get the top 2 or 3 picks. I'm always last in that first round. And I'm going to go with the kind of a sleeper here, Saquon Barkley for the Giants. I think
Saquon.
I think he is going to be a workhorse for them all year. I mean, like if he is not touching the ball 30 plus times, they're going to get killed no matter what, because the receiving core is kind of down. Eli sucks, and I mean, you have to give your young back the ball over and over.
And what's amazing is he can take it the distance. So he's a touchdown maker. This guy, as soon as he makes a couple of people miss, like Barry Sanders, he's gone.
Right.
So that's a good pick. Also, I think I might throw in Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur, new coach. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be back to a couple years ago. Aaron Rodgers, where he's going to throw for 30-something touchdowns. So he's another pick I think of. If you're picking last in that first round and Barkley's probably going to be gone. So you say your bad luck is you never get to pick first. So I probably would look at Ezekiel Elliott or Aaron Rodgers or Deshaun Watson in that late first round.
Yeah, just the reason why I'm picking him back is because usually most people do not pick backs until second or third round, late second round, early third round. Usually how it happens. Yeah. Usually all the quarterbacks go off the list, and then you're looking at wide receivers next because they're looking at touchdowns more than like all purpose yards, that kind of thing. But if you have the first overall pick in your draft and you are not picking Patrick or Jared Goff or even Deshaun Watson from Houston, just like you said,
Aaron Rodgers,
you definitely doing fantasy wrong. So
well, and let me tell you something. I'll piggyback off my Texans. Hopkins, number 10 in your Houston program there, he usually gets a lot of touchdowns as well. Yeah. He's a top fantasy player too, DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah. Every week, I feel he is at 24 plus points. He has crazy amount of yards week in and week out.
And Michael, you know what's amazing about that is he's played with Deshaun, for like a season and a half. Right. He's had great numbers his whole career, even playing with subpar quarterbacks. So the guy finds the end zone.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say he's definitely a top 5 receiver in the NFL right now, behind Tyreek Hill, Julio Jones, Odell, and really, I don't know who would be better than him after that. So
Amari Cooper, I think Amari Cooper's going to get a few touchdowns as well. So Yeah, Mark Cooper will be utilized, but yeah, you're right. Odell Beckham's going to be awesome, but the thing of it is, you blanket coverage to Odell's side. I mean, you know he's still going to take the top off the defense.
Yeah.
Landry on that other side, Jarvis Landry for the Cleveland Browns is going to get a lot of looks too.
That is a person you need to steal in the third or fourth
Yeah.
round. I think he is going to drop a lot in a lot of drafts because he's going to get overlooked a lot. Same thing with like Amari Cooper. I think a lot of people are going to draft him early. So you need to look at the other side of the Cowboys offense. And
I'm going to tell you right
third
now,
and fourth round picks.
Maybe like in the fifth round or sixth round, however you work it, take Mecole Hardman from your Kansas City Chiefs. I think he gets you 8 touchdowns as a rookie. Now, that's not a lot. That's one every other game.
Yeah.
And he's going to get you – let me tell you something. He's going to get you punt returns and kick he's going to get you a punt return touchdown, a couple. So
Right.
I think Mecole Hardman's going to get you 8 receiving and 2 punt return. So 10 touchdowns for the whole year for Mecole Hardman is not anybody, that you take high in the first 3 rounds, but he's somebody that you just go ahead and you take last. Nobody's taking him.
Yeah, you would definitely have to take him and then play him, weeks 1 through 4.
Sparingly, yeah.
If not weeks 1 through 6, because Tyreek Hill is more than likely going to get suspended for.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. I'm thinking listen, that's another subject for another day. I'm thinking like if Tyreek Hill gets, suspended for 8 games or 4 games or something, I still would draft Tyreek Hill. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to take a risk on that. I feel like the suspension should be coming out here pretty soon, the next week, if not month, with the camp starting up and whatnot.
Yeah.
So we should definitely have an answer
right
by that point. Now, if he appeals it and he happens to play the first 4 weeks and he's suspended 4 through 8, okay. I think that's pretty good for the Kansas City Chiefs because I want to come firing at the gate and then kind of stumble those 4 games that he is on
right
in the middle of the season because our middle season games are pretty weak. So I'd prefer.
And if he's suspended at all, that's why I said take that flyer on Mecole Hardman.
Yeah, and don't forget about
Mecole Hardman. I've been saying Mecole Hardman,
right.
the second round pick for the Kansas City Chiefs, wide receiver out of Georgia.
Yeah, second round pick, but first overall for Kansas City.
Yeah,
in that draft. So yeah, I mean, if you want to, we can definitely get into fantasy drafts. Right. As it gets closer here. What preseason starts in August, late or mid-August, so we can definitely do our own draft as well. So we'll get a little pool going.
Yeah, and then I'm not usually a fantasy guy, but I'll go ahead and I'll do it with you guys. You know what I mean? Like I know I'm not. I usually I'm a homer. I'll take my homer team. So I already know I probably won't win, but I'm
going to take the Houston defense.
If I get in it with you guys, I'll probably will draft right then. I'll try to do it this year with you.
Right. I mean, just like you, like I wasn't really into fantasy until about 5 years ago, and it just makes games more exciting to watch. Like when you're rooting for somebody.
I understand.
Because my wife's a huge Packers fan and a Denver Broncos fan, and I absolutely hate watching the